Okay, hello. So yeah, we're gonna do something brand new now. I um, I actually quit my job, and I had my last day last week, and I'm jumping into something new after summer. Um, but before that, I have some time alone. The kids are still in kindergarten and at school for a couple of weeks. And then I won't get that much time to myself during vacation with kids, but I've always dreamt about building a game. And let's see, I just want to make sure that the audio, let's see, I'm just going to open my live stream just to verify that the audio, let's see. I think we can make it a little bit higher. Let's see. Okay, I think we're just gonna try that for now. I can fix that later. Just so you can hear some of the... Yeah, anyway, so I always dreamt about building a game. But every time I've tried, it's just too overwhelming. There's so many things that, like, so many skills you have to apply. Like everything from graphics to audio design to music, of course, programming. You have to do marketing, deploying to different platforms, and of course gameplay design, which is maybe the hardest thing. And I've tried different ways of doing this, but only now and with AI I kind of saw an opportunity to build something, but I couldn't find a setup that actually worked. But now I have. And you can argue like using AI to build anything creative is bad. And I kind of agree with that. But yeah, I'm reflecting a lot on that these days. Because the thing is, like, if you are an indie developer, you're gonna completely exhaust yourself building a game. Like, it requires so much effort. It takes such a mental toll. It requires your full attention 24/7 to be able to finish anything. And most indie devs, they burn out completely. And that's not taking in account numbers of indie devs that doesn't even finish their game because of that burnout. So if I want to make that dream a reality, building a game, also having a family and not completely burning myself out, I have to find a setup where I can use AI to let me work on the game in terms of graphics, audio, music, everything. And of course, that's individually working on graphics using only AI, working on music only using AI. Each individual piece using AI feels really wrong. But when you use AI to make all those things come together, and especially when that's driven by a vision you have, for me, that changes things. And to me, it's a choice. Like, either I never build a game or I use AI to build a game. That's basically where I'm at. And I think the thing that most people don't think about is how insane, like, the sheer amount of details that needs to be implemented in a game to make it feel good. It's just insane. And the biggest problem is that you're going to apply most of these details to gameplay that you're going to throw away. It's such a process of trying out things because you don't know how it feels until the graphics, audio design, gameplay, performance, like all of this comes together. That's the only time you really get a feel for what you're building. And if it doesn't feel right, you have to change all of those things or try to change each of those things to see which one of them is what's causing the thing not to feel right. It's such a brutal process, and I don't understand how anyone is able to build a game on their own. It's just insane. Like using AI here to actually go through the process makes me at awe for people who actually do all of this work manually. I don't envy them because, as I said, it's brutal. It's going to take a toll on your life, on your mental health, and everything. So I wouldn't want to be there. But I guess it doesn't make me impressed. It just makes me sympathetic to indie game developers who goes through that process. And I hope they that they find it worthwhile. Like even with success, it makes me, I don't know. I'm in the middle of this, so I'm working on this game. I'm watching all these indie devlogs, picking up what it means to do game development, watching like tips and tricks and all of this stuff. Anyways, so I'm gonna share a lot of those reflections, but also we're gonna work on the game. So the game is like an iOS game, and I've always dreamt of creating this like tank game. And the point is that it should just feel great driving the tank around. And there's no and that's another thing, like in iOS games, I hate that you have those joysticks and stuff. I remember playing Super Mario, I can't even remember the name of that game, like this official Nintendo Super Mario iOS game. There are no controls. You just, kind of like Flappy Bird, right? You just have your thumb on the screen, and that's the only control you have. And that's the same idea here. You just put your thumb on the screen, the tank starts driving, you move your thumb, it turns, right? And then, as we can see here, when I drive outside, it auto fires on the enemies. Oh, I think I'm running streaming, and the game and everything at the same time. Might be a bit janky. Anyways, so just doing this should feel really great, and it kind of does already. And then there's like this whole gameplay loop that I'm exploring now. And of course, it's multiplayer. That was another thing I wanted. I love playing games with my friends. And I wanted to create something that was like super simple to just jump into each other's games. So it's like a drop-in kind of thing. You can start the game at any time. You can give your friends a code and they can just jump into your game. Cool. So the thing we're gonna iterate on first, I made some notes here. I actually want to have this outside part. I want that to be water, or at least blue. We'll see what we do about that. And then I want these lights up here to be yellow, because they're gonna turn red during lockdown. We're gonna see how that works. And then when I drive and I move my finger, it doesn't the tank doesn't immediately react. I want it to immediately start turning, but with a very low turning radius. And then as I move my finger more and more, it's going to have a higher and higher turning radius. And what I've learned using AI is that I can, especially now, like I'm using Claude, max subscription, Opus 4.8. I'm just ramming the thing. since it's so heavily subsidized. The cool thing is that I don't have to work on one thing at a time. I can just tell it to work on everything here. Yeah, and then maybe I should talk about my setup. So previously when I've tried using AI, I've tried to make a pixel game. I thought that would be the easiest thing. But it turns out that creating a pixel game is actually really, really hard to do using AI. So I rather tried using Godot, which is a game engine, kind of like Unity or Unreal. But it has a different approach to its programming language that's actually beneficial for AI. What I realized is that I don't even need a Godot editor. I just need to create my own environment, which I've done here. So when I fire up Claude here, it runs on a project that has a lot of instructions around things I've developed as I've been exploring. But basically what it does is that it runs local here. And when it runs local, it fires up 2 windows, one host and one joined player automatically. And then I have my Claude window here. And I test here, I talk to Claude over here, and then it will just restart the game whenever it makes changes. And then there's also like tools that Claude has built for itself to start the game, like a third instance of the game, in different states to take screenshots and track frames and grab logs and everything. So it's kind of incredible, the flow here. But yeah, let's go ahead and actually build something. So I want the space. Let's just do. So I want the space outside of the game level, which currently has this like almost like pinkish hue, to actually resemble water. Let's just try to give it like a quite bright bluish color for now and see how that looks. And later maybe we can actually make it look like there's some waves and stuff there. But for now, let's just change that color to a oceanish blue. And then we have, so the doors of the base currently have red lights on the top to indicate that they're locked. But I actually want to change this to a yellow-orange color instead. And then rather when we have the lockdown and the tanks have moved outside the base, where we actually lock down the doors so the tanks can't get back in, I want to change it to red, that it's actually locked, right? And I notice when I put my thumb down to start driving the tank, I have to move my finger a bit before the tank starts reacting. I actually want immediately when I start moving my finger that the tank should start turning. But the amount I have moved from the center of where I started tapping or pressing should affect the radius, right? So the more I move my finger to the right from where I pressed, the more turn radius I should have. But it needs to feel like an immediate feedback when I start moving my thumb. And this is basically what I've been doing all along. And what I'm noticing is that, so my experience, like being a programmer, working on a lot of state management, worked on complex user experiences, and of course have experience with deployments and stacks and all of this stuff. It's incredibly helpful to reason about, yeah, and just having played a shit ton of games and being like really interested in what makes a game tick and what goes on behind the scenes. I remember watching a Halo dev tool video on YouTube, like how they built their own development tools for Halo. And like just the amount of information you kind of see on screen and everything happening, I find this incredibly fascinating. Because games are like 100 times more complex than what I've been doing. But it's the same concepts in terms of creating an experience. So yeah, I can't imagine anyone who doesn't have any programming experience is able to actually build a game. I have a hard time understanding that. And then also I rely on a lot of other tools. Like I use GPT and Nano Banana for different kinds of graphics. I use 11 Labs for sound effects. I use Suno for music. Like it's very like dispersed. And the reason I chose these tools is because I've been exploring them completely separately, even outside game development. So just finding the right tools is really, really hard to do right now, I think, at least from my experience. But yeah, I can show you a little bit of the game in the meantime. So what we can see here now is that this started blinking because I have some damage on my tank. When I can heal myself. And then if I go here, we can upgrade the base. And the cool thing is that since it's a cooperative game, you contribute with money. So since I'm in development, we have $10 ready and I can contribute with what I have here. But now we need to go out and we need to shoot down some enemies to get some more money. And this is also a thing, like there's so many details to how this tank operates. For example, you see the turret turning before it's in range of firing, for example. That's really important because you kind of want the tank, because it's automated, right? Because you can only use your thumb to control the tank, but you don't control the turret. But it has to feel like the turret is doing what you want it to do. So the turret will always oh, it's restarting the game. So the turret will always like point to towards an enemy, even though it's completely out of range. And then you have like a range, upgradable range to actually fire. And these are the kinds of things that would be intuitive, I think, to an actual game designer who has a lot of experience. But for me, like that's something I am discovering. And if I were to like manually implement that, it would take me hours to just implement that. But now using when I'm able to like use AI to fix those things, I can fix like 1,000 of those things, and there's at least 1,000 things to fix to actually make a good game. In terms of gameplay. Oh, this feels so much better. Oh, great. Yeah. Oh, this is great. Sweet. Okay, we might need to tune it because now it's linear, I think. The turning. Maybe this is fine. Yeah. Did it add? Yeah, no, it's still, I think it's because of the fog. So the water doesn't read blue at all, really. I see that it it reads well on the actual edge of the map. But I want the whole like outside of the map, like kind of like the background color of where the game sits to feel like water. Could you do another iteration? Yeah, now we have orange lights here. Let's go and see if we can. Oh, maybe it will. Oh shit. Yeah, and then I think the main thing for me now, oh, look at me, is really balancing. So, and that's really, really hard to do. OMG. I think we need to find some kind of formula for that. But the point here is that you see these orange enemies. You can actually upgrade your gun, so you can have different kinds of ammo. So now we have like the default ammo, and you can see that takes out the white enemies on one shot, but it needs 2 shots for the colored enemies. But then you can change your ammo to blue, for example, and then you take out the blue enemies on 1 shot, but then you won't take out the white enemies. So you kind of have to choose how you want to do it. And also when you play co-op, the point is that you should kind of take on different roles, like different colors and stuff like that. So let me upgrade my base. So when I upgrade my base, I get to the next level where I can deploy like turrets. How much does it cost? Oh, there's no price for the turret. Oh, let's see. We need a price. Can on the power-ups. That's missing. There should be a how much it costs. Oh yeah, it's 20. Oh, how did that look over here? Anyways, yeah, but when I level up, I can deploy more turrets, which appear around the base, and I can upgrade my tank with different things, like a new level of power-ups. And then when I'm ready to kind of take on the wave, that's when, oh shit, the enemies attack. And if I can deal with the wave, it's going to open up a new level. And that's kind of the game loop. It's like you're prepping for your, what's it called? You're kind of grinding to power up your... you can see that? It's like Claude is testing out different game states to see how it looks like. But yes, yeah, so you're kind of grinding to power up your base or level up your base, which unlocks like power-ups to defend your base, or deployments, maybe I should call them that. And then you can upgrade your tank at that level. And then you have to take on a wave of attacking enemies. And if you're able to take them out, that's going to open up another level. And then you upgrade again, you get more stuff. The next wave is going to be harder to take out, and so on and so on and so on. That's kind of the idea behind the loop for now. But the core mechanic needs to be fun. It needs to be fun to drive that tank around and shoot out enemies. And I don't think it's 100% nailed down yet. Oh, I see. Oh, I guess this is more the fog. Oh, okay. Yeah, it kind of looks nice, though. I think I like the previous one better. Okay, I think I see what's happening. I guess it was because... so I like the previous lighting better. Like now it becomes too much blue here. So I don't want to change... Did you change the... yeah. So you changed the fog to be more of a bluish color. And I guess that's what was happening, is that the previous fog had like a different color. But I actually like that color. Could you So could you change the fog back to its other color? And then I guess since we made some changes to other things here. Yeah, let's see how that looks. So we need the previous fog color, please. Yeah, exactly. But this is a cool color as well. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. This is like 2 days of development getting to this state, which is kind of crazy. And I've tried a bunch of different approaches. Okay, I think this is fine for now. What could we do to make the larger water plane to feel more like water without like hitting performance issues? Is there some like nice way to achieve that effect? Like maybe some waves or something. Yeah, what do you think? I really love the colors here. It's really nice. Yeah, and it's also interesting because it's going to run on iOS, you have to be a bit conservative with models and stuff. And like Claude designed this tank. It's kind of cool. And it runs great. Well, I guess I have... Well, I don't have the latest iPhone. I think I have... Is it 16 or something? 15? And the great thing is that Godot has a really great multiplayer setup. So... Oh, look at that. That looks a bit weird. Yeah, it kind of goes underneath the... Yeah, we have to fix that. Yeah, it has a really great WebRTC approach, because I wouldn't be able to release this game having to actually run a server for the gameplay. So the way this works is that I do have a server, but it's a handshake server, which can run for free. That's fine. So it only does the handshake, and then there's a host. And it uses WebRTC to sync up the state of the game, and it works really, really great. Like it's amazing. Let's see. The plane stays a single flat, one draw call, 0. All the gain comes from a few more per pixel math operations, animated sun sparkle. Only where it counts. Ah. Okay, let us do tier 1 here, but I want you to actually write down the other 2 tiers so that we can approach this later. Do we already have a document that lists suggested improvements? If not, we should create such a document and reference it from the Claude MD file so that we are able to kind of do the simplest fixes now. But then later when we go into like a proper polish phase, we have some stuff to work on. Maybe you can call it Polish MD or something. Okay, so we're gonna fix the water, and then yeah, we're gonna fix the price icon. And then we have to figure out. So the levels are going to be generated. So you're going to start in different corners. There's going to be different terrains. There's going to be different biomes and stuff like that. But there has to be... Yeah, I'm so unsure about the balancing. So there's different factors, right? You have the distance, like how much time does it take to go from the base out, shoot some tanks, collect some money, and get to the next level. That can't take too long. If that takes too long, it's gonna be boring. And then another aspect of this is when you upgrade your tank, you want to feel the new impact of that tank, right? So you need enemies that you suddenly like take out on one shot, for example. But how do you make enemies? So you need like a... But you can't like design hundreds of different enemies and make them unique enough so that for every level you bump up your tank. You have some of the old enemies and some of the new enemies. So you still have to shoot, like, just to simplify it. Like for every level, you can take out one certain type of enemy on one shot, and then you have to spend 2 shots taking out a harder enemy. But when you level up your tank, suddenly you are able to take out 2 enemies on one shot, 2 types of enemies on one shot, and then you get another enemy that's you need to take out on 2 shots, right? But it feels like that's not a good game loop. I wonder how tower defenses actually do this. Let's see, I want to fire up a Claude AI. Let's just fire up Claude in the browser here as well. So I'm reflecting on a game loop for a game I'm building. It kind of reflects tower defense in the sense that you create these, or you have these levels, and for each level you get like new enemies, and you upgrade. Well, it's a tank game, so you upgrade your tank. The tank becomes more powerful, and I want you to feel that your tank is becoming more powerful, but we also need more powerful enemies, so you get a new challenge. And I'm very curious about how does games handle that like loop, so that you constantly feel that you get more powerful, but also getting a new challenge. And I guess tower defense games are really, really good at that. But what is the actual mechanism underneath there? And can I like generalize it so that I don't have to like design like 200 enemies? Yeah. You see what I mean? Let's see. Oh, is it? Did it do something? Do we have... Well, yeah, there is actually some effect here. Let's see, tier 1 water is still a single flat. Rise the ripple normals. Okay, so I don't actually see that. Okay, so I see something happen to the water. I think I see like right at the edge of the map, I see like some kind of glimmer or something. But I was kind of expecting to see glimmer throughout the water. Yeah, could you help me tune my expectations on what I'm supposed to see here? And does these images align with what you try to make? Let's see. Yeah, not find me. It's fine. Yeah, I'm wondering if should it just be like linear as you move your finger, or should it be like if I, yeah, well, it probably should. It's like when you turn the wheel of a car, right? It's kind of linear how the turning goes. Okay, cool. That is good. Do. Yeah, mostly fog, not water. To honest direction. Your call. Lean into the moody dusk water. Keep your lighting fog, but fix the 2 things I broke. Yeah. Recommendation, bright. Yeah, this is the thing I'm wondering about. I kinda... No, like the water should be lit in the context of the level. Yeah. Okay, let's go for A here. Yeah, I'm really curious to go and explore other like biomes. There is something about the control though. It's a little bit too sensitive on... It's almost like, oh, wait a minute. I know. I want the turn radius to change based on the speed of the tank. So if I drive faster, it should have a slower turn radius as I move my finger. And then as it slows down, like if I put my finger down and like turn quickly, then it's gonna immediately have a... Yeah. Because I think that's the problem, is like if you're driving fast and you're trying to like aim the tank between things, it's really hard because it's so sensitive on its turning, right? Yeah, so it's kind of like, what's it called? Wired steering? You can have that on a car. So when it's moving slow, like you just have to turn the wheel just a little bit to get like proper turn. And then as it speeds up, you have to turn it more to get the same effect. Let's just put that in there. So I noticed that the base power-ups, the contribution dollar label there isn't the same as in the base upgrade. So it needs to look the same. Like the contribution money should be in the 3rd column. We should see like the money icon there. It's gonna look exactly like the base upgrade in terms of positioning of the text and the contribution and money and icons and everything. Oh, I haven't spoken English in for a few... Like if I spend, I think it's more than 2 days not speaking English, I have a hard time finding words, and I don't have the flow. Which is also why I like streaming. It just keeps my English up front. So I want to make a change to the steering of the tank. So we're going to have this. Have you heard of the concept wired steering? So if the tank is moving slow, it's going to turn more as you move your finger. And I think what we have now is a good starting point for a slow moving tank. But as it gains speed, we have to reduce the turn radius based on how you move your finger. So you have to move your finger more to turn the tank when you're at higher speeds. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see what it did to the water. Oh, look at that. Okay, I think that's fine for now. Yeah, let's just keep that. And we're gonna work more on the water later. I think we have to move to the tier 3, 2 or 3 to actually make it. Another thing is like these pads, they are like sitting inside and on top of the terrain, which kind of annoys me. I was thinking maybe the base should just be flat. Like it shouldn't have hills and stuff. That's also kind of cool, so that when you drive outside, you're going to drive over hills and stuff. Yeah, let's actually add that. So within the base area, I don't want to have... I want the terrain to be very flat. Like, not completely flat, but very flat. So that the pads never like stick through the terrain or feels awkward. And it's also gonna make moving into the outside of the base feel better, because there you're gonna have some more hills. And I think also we can increase the size of the hills. Like it's there were very small hills now. We can have some hills that are actually quite a bit bigger. So yeah, almost no angle on the hills within the base, and then actually bigger, also some bigger hills outside the base. Cool. Okay. This is fine for now. Here are some more things to work on. So the way I'm working on this now, you see that I'm kind of just spitballing constantly, and I'm jumping into different things all the time. And this is also something that's really, really hard to do as if you're going to do everything yourself, is that you have all these thoughts all the time, and you kind of just want to tweak things, but it just takes so much time to tweak something, and that creates this feeling of being overwhelmed. And makes it just... I really don't understand how indie developers are able to go through this phase of iteration. It blows my mind. It really does blow my mind. It's very, very impressive. But anyways, so for me, it becomes fun to iterate on the small details, because I can just go all over the place. Like I'm changing some power-up stuff, and then I'm changing the steering of the tank, and then what was the last thing? I'm changing how the terrain is generated. Like just throwing it out there, just fixing it as I'm going. So the game is like really coming together, like very incrementally. And if I ever get someone to test this game, I have a few friends testing it, and if I get like feedback, then it's gonna be something I can actually attend to. Oh, that's kind of... Look at the light in the water. Looks a little bit weird, maybe. Oh, it's cool that it's reflective. Yeah, I was also thinking about, like, we have these bushes here that you could like drive over them, and we can have a sound effect for that. I think that's gonna add to, like, one thing I know that's very intuitive to me. I don't want to call myself a game developer, but I've always pretended to be a game developer. As I said, like, I'm very, very curious about what makes a game feel good. And I don't mean the overall goals of the game, just the second to second experience of a game. Like, why, for example, Fortnite. Why does Fortnite feel so amazingly good when firing the gun? It's just insane how good it feels. And like the feedback you get when you hit the enemies, like, it's insane how good it feels. But what makes it feel that good? It's really hard to pinpoint it. But one thing I know is that feedback is king. Like, when you get feedback for doing something, like I'm pushing my thumb here and the tank starts driving, I'm moving my thumb, the tank starts turning. That's feedback, right? But also me adding these trails. Is it trails? Trails? Like behind the tank? Makes it feel like the tank is going through the terrain, right? So it adds to the feedback. And that's what I'm talking about with the trees. If the trees makes a little sound and fall, not the trees, but the bushes, makes a little sound when you hit them and they kind of fall flat to the ground, that's just going to add to that feedback of feeling that you're driving the tank through the terrain. Yeah, let's add that as a note. So I want to explore if we can add a sound to... well, basically I want the tank, as you're driving it, when it hits a bush, that we make like a bush sound, like it's hitting the bush. And if we could even kind of make the bush fall over and kind of fall flat to the ground, but it doesn't necessarily need to like break. If it, I don't know how we could do this, but it kind of falls flat as you drive over it, and then it kind of pops up again as the tank passes it. But the sound effect and yeah, the sound effect is really important here. Yeah, how can we approach this? Yeah, and I'm also curious about the enemies. Like, I kind of like this concept of having these different ammo types. But at the same time, I'm not sure... Like, I haven't really tried it enough to evaluate that. But also the enemies are like just these entities. I don't really know what they are. And talking about feedback, I also thought about, okay, what if we make the enemies also be like tanks? That would be kind of cool. And then they wouldn't still have kind of these LED lights, but they would actually look like tanks, not these like hexagons or whatever they're called. And then there could be different enemies. Oh, we have to heal our tank. Oh, it could be these different types of enemies. Like you have tanks, you have jeeps. I don't know. But that's also the thing. It's like you have to remember it's a game. That's also something I've picked up is don't try to make things realistic. It just needs to be fun. But the reason I talk about like jeeps and tanks is that when you hit them, like things can fall off, or you can make them wobble. more. Like you see how these tanks, if you crash or something like that, they wobble, and that's really good, like important feedback. Oh, let's look at this. Good question to be chewing on, because the thing that makes this loop work is almost the opposite of what it looks like from the outside. Let me play out the mechanism, then the part you actually care about. How to get it without anchoring 200 enemies. So, okay, this is interesting. So we have progression, time, power. This is upgrade, power spike. Oh, enemy difficulty. Yeah, so enemy difficulty increases in your tank. Yeah, gets these power spikes. That's where you feel good, right? The trap first, because it's the one almost everyone falls into. If you scale enemy HP to keep pace with your DPS, the numbers inflate, but the experience is flat. Exactly. So it doesn't matter. Like if the enemy gets better as your tank gets better, the experience stays exactly the same. It stays flat. You hit harder, they have more health. The time to kill never changes. Yeah, time to kill, that's the thing. And the player feels nothing. That's the illusion of progression treadmill. The felt sensation of power doesn't live in your stats. It lives in the gap between your power and the difficulty, which is what the diagram is really about. Power fantasy is the moment the green line jumps above the orange one. Challenge is when orange creeps back up. The whole craft is managing that oscillation. Two things make it feel good rather than mechanical. The curve is a sawtooth, not two parallel lines. After an upgrade, you should be briefly overpowered. Let the player stomp for a wave or two so the upgrade registers in the body, not just the menu. Then difficulty climbs to re-challenge and you upgrade again. The contrast is the dopamine. A great cheap trick here is to occasionally re-show an old enemy that used to threaten you and let the player delete it trivially. That's when I've gotten stronger, becomes legible. Yeah, exactly. Now, challenge should be qualitative, attacking a different axis than your last upgrade saw. This is the key insight and also the thing that saves you from 200 enemies. If you just bought more single target DPS, the next threat shouldn't be more HP. You already saw that. It should be something DPS doesn't answer. Enemies that flank you, that you can't reach, that punish standing still, that come in swarms. Think of small vocabulary of orthogonal threat axis. Single target area, range, mobility, survivability, crowd control, and every enemy stresses one axis while every upgrade relieves one. That's interesting. That is interesting. That interplay is the engine. It's also exactly what tower defense is quietly doing. Its enemy palette is tiny. Yeah, exactly. Just a bunch of balloons, right? How fun can it be to take out the balloons? It's one of the most popular tower defense games, and they're fucking balloons. But each type demands a counter, anti-air, armor piercing, slow. So difficulty is, do you have the right tool? Not are your numbers big enough? Yeah, exactly. It's about the tool. So as long as we have like, that's why I had like different types of armor. Different types of ammo. Is to change the tool to do the job more efficiently. No, you don't author anything. You author a small system and let it compose. Archetypes, behavior, the expensive hand-authored part, and you only need 6 to 10 each, is defined by movement plus attack plus threat access. It stresses rusher, sniper, brawler, swarmer, shielded, splitter, summoner, artillery. Behavior is what makes an enemy read as different. So this is where your effort goes. Stat scaling. Continuous HP damage, speed, fire rate, and spawn count as functions of depth. One curve applied to any archetype. This is free variety along the more axis. affixes modifiers. Orthogonal mutators layered on top, armored, regenerating, explodes on death, shielded, fast, elite with aura. An archetype plus one of the two affixes. Reads as a distinct enemy. Yeah. The spawn director. I have a director. The thing that actually generates your curve. Give it credit budget that grows with depth. Each archetype plus affix combo has a cost. The director spends the budget each wave. Okay, this is really good. Worth looking at as reference points. Vampire Survivors. Yeah. Like, this is a big inspiration for this game. Vampire Survivors. Gets an enormous power fantasy from basically layer 2 alone. Scale count plus HP. Occasionally introduce a new movement pattern. Risk of rain to its cleanness. I haven't tried this game. Tower defense proves the counter key principle. For Godot, this maps onto resources very naturally, which I suspect is why this is itching at you. Okay, I think we're gonna take this and we're gonna actually write a document on how we want this to work. But let's not do that now. Let's check what was done here. Okay, so power up contribution card. Okay, let's... Yeah, now the tank feels even better. Okay, we need to go out and kill some things. Where are the enemies? Here they are. Oh, oh, look at me. I wasn't paying attention. Let's see, we need 15. Kablam. 15. Okay, let's get back. Woo! Yeah, it might be a little bit too slow when it goes at max speed. Woo. Okay. And then, whoop, nice. Great. Now that looks correct. Speed sensitive steering. Yeah, that was definitely on. I think we're just gonna play around with it a little bit more. Yeah, and now we have a more flat base. We certainly do. Did we have like some bigger hills? Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, look at this one. That's pretty big. Yeah, and it kind of slows down. Ooh, that's cool. That's really cool. Great work. Let's see. Yeah, maybe I can show you now the... So what happens here is that when you've leveled up your base, you're able to take on a swarm. I should actually upgrade my base and everything, but I can show you how it works. So we go to this button in the center, and then the music changes. I have to drive out, and I have to drive out the other tank as well. Oh, sorry. And then it closes the... It's in lockdown, so I can't get into the base anymore, and we have to deal with a wave. Oh. Ooh. Oh, shit. And then if you go down, the other tank can go and heal you, which is kind of cool. And then kablam. And then we can drive back in and we can heal and we can upgrade the base and we can fix the base and everything. That's kind of cool. And this plays even better on the phone, which is really cool. Okay, so I wanna tackle this one. Let's see. I want I want the tank. I want to try this. Cool. And then we need to figure out. Yeah, I don't have a clear idea in my mind how we're gonna do the. Let's see. You know, we should also make your tank make tank more make tank have lower max speed within the base. Like these kinds of details is like super important. Like the most annoying thing is you're driving your tank too fast and you crash into the wall when you try to exit the base, and you get like a hit, like and you want to turn around and then fix your tank again. Like stuff like that really matters. Yeah, maybe driving through the water should also give you like an HP hit, and then you can get an upgrade. Let's write it down. When driving in water, get upgrade to not get HP hit. So these are like longer term ideas. Can I make them bold? Yeah. Next ideas. Cool. But yeah, I really want to take this whole conversation and write a document on it. Now what's also changed with Claude is that I'm able to, I can run like one session now with Opus and just run with it. I don't have to create new sessions and control context or anything like that. I can just hammer through everything, which is also really great. Like previously, you would really have to make sure that one session was about one thing, or the AI would get very confused. So I feel like there's a moment in time now where it's actually possible to do this stuff I'm trying to do. Oh. But I guess that's good. Like with more engine power, I will be able to get up. Okay, traction should also be a thing. Yeah, so you can get up those hills. You don't need more speed, you just need, what's it called? I guess it's traction. But yeah, this is where I'm also a bit confused. Like, okay, so I can do these upgrades. I can hit harder. I can fire faster. But it's kind of hard to... Yeah. But again, yeah, maybe it's nice. Like, because I had negative damage, but then I also upgraded my damage. So the result of this is like higher fire range and more damage. Yeah, that's also things I'm wondering about. Is like, if you play Diablo, how do you actually feel that your stats are changing? Like, it's fun to play around with stats and you kind of see that you go from 114 damage to 130. But do you really feel that? You don't, right? Well, yeah, look at me taking out these in one shot. Kabloom. Oh. But I think I'm gonna we're gonna test these bushes and see. I wonder if it actually created. Yeah, I should show you my game lab as well. Do I have the game lab open? Is our game lab running? What was the localhost URL to the game lab? Okay, I'm kind of excited about this. So what did it do? Flatten plus bushes are multi-mesh instances. So I kept their upright transformer and added running every pair. Any bush within bush squash radius. The tank tips over flat if it hinges at its base and falls away from the tank. Fast fall when you hit this. Bring your pop-up back once you pass. Okay, I'm very curious about this. Please start a game lab for me. Okay, let's try this in the meantime. Oh, look at that. That's really cool. Huh. Might be a little bit too much, but yeah. It certainly adds to the... That's so cool. Imagine that I can have this idea of bushes. Like, imagine the amount of time I would spend on trying to make that work. If I was a programmer and I worked in a team of 10 people trying to build this game, that would be amazing. But like, it took a minute to try it out. It's kind of insane. And maybe I should feel ashamed. I don't know. Okay, but this is great. Yeah, you see I can't drive up that hill. Ooh, this is great. This is really, really great. This really adds to the... Fantastic. Okay, yeah, and then the game lab. This is just a custom editor specifically for this game, which allows me to go in and oh, interesting. Why aren't... Okay, I have the music here. Do I have the graphics? Oh, interesting. Interesting. In the game lab, I can't see any of the sound effects or graphics. The music is there, but is there something I did not commit from the other computer that should have been committed? Because the mapping doesn't seem to be there. But all of these, yeah, all of these sounds should be hooked up to something. Okay, cool. But I think we're gonna stop the stream there. I'm gonna try, I also record the stream now, so I'm gonna kind of cut up the video and post it as like a standalone video with all the boring parts removed. And then, yeah, because I would really love to just share how I build this game. And then maybe some people would want to test it. That would be amazing. And just discuss what it means. Like, I definitely reflect a lot about using AI for this. And like some people are completely black and white on this. Like either it's perfectly fine to use AI or you're gonna hate it, but it's more of a gray zone, right? Because at the end of the day, this would be me not trying to create a game, not streaming about it, not discussing AI in the context of AI, not giving respects to the amazing people that do this manually. Yeah, I think it's worth a conversation at least. Okay, cool. That's it for now. Bye bye.